The winning blueprint presents.
In the lab room.
Finally, we arrived at Monday Night Football, and I have a shot at an 11-5 start to the NFL season. And that's not a bad start. I told you it's tough to pick winners the first week. Now, I hold myself to a higher standard than most people do. And so I expect big things from myself. And 11-5, while most people will take that, I look at that as a slap in the face. I should be better than 11-5, but nonetheless, that's the best that I can do this week, and that's what I'm going to do. And so I have to pick two winners. I don't have a choice. I have to pick two winners tonight, and I'm going to do so. And I'm going to start with the first Monday night game, which has the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. And this is a divisional matchup, one that I feel like in the coming years is only going to get better. The Ravens are, again, with the Steelers, they're the bullies on the block. They're the guys that you see coming and you turn around and you run the other way because you know if you run into them, they're going to take your lunch money. And the Bengals are trying to establish themselves as a team that can walk by the Steelers and the Ravens, hold their head up high, and not feel like they're in any danger of getting bullied. They just want respect. They want to be able to walk by the Steelers and the Ravens, give them a head nod, sup, and keep on walking, and have the Ravens and the Steelers not say anything to them. Actions speak louder than words, and it's much easier said than done. And so I just don't see the Bengals as being ready to take that next step and take on the challenge of beating the Steelers, beating the Ravens. And so I feel like they got a ways to go. And I love a lot of their parts. I love what the Bengals are doing as a football team right now. They're young, they're hungry, they're getting athletic and talented at multiple positions along both sides of the football. I just love them, the direction that they're going in. However, young and talented doesn't get it done in the AFC North. Okay? Experience and toughness does. And until the Bengals acquire some more of that experience, more of that rugged edge, that toughness that is needed to win in the AFC North, they're going to struggle against the big boys of that division. So tonight, as they go to take on the Ravens, they have their work cut out for them. Yeah, it's going to be interesting watching the Ravens this year. No Terrell Suggs. Ray Lewis and Ed Reed are a year older. And that defense has a lot of moving parts. No more Jarrett Johnson as he's moved on to San Diego. And so you look at Tom Zbikowski's gone. And yeah, he may not have been a starter, but he was a contributor, not only on special teams, but at safety. And so you look at parts walking away. No more Chuck Pagano as your defensive coordinator. There's moving parts there with the Baltimore Ravens. And so you look at this team and you say, can this defense remain dominant? Can this defense still get it done as they have in the past? Mount Cody is now your starting defensive tackle. We're going to see what the Ravens can do. But all in all, this team is a perennial playoff participant. They're a triple P. We know what the Ravens are about. And they have my favorite fringe elite quarterback in the league, one that I tell people to stop harassing and start respecting in Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is a guy that gets a lot of flack, no pun intended, but he produces when the spotlight is its greatest. When the pressure mounts, Joe Flacco plays his best football. And that's what I respect and love about Joe Flacco. You give him all the grief you want about his lackluster performances against teams like Jacksonville and games where he doesn't put up the best numbers and they don't win. But I say that's a team effort. That's the lack of the coaching staff and not getting the ball to Ray Rice. I say that that's guys dropping the football. I say that that's a collective group not getting it done. It's not just Joe Flacco. And so Joe Flacco is a solid quarterback in this league and borderline top 10, top 12 quarterback in this league. And I want people to get off his back. And Joe Flacco is going to go out and show people this season why he deserves the money that he's going to have coming to him at the end of this season. The Bengals, like I said, they have one of the best and most encouraging receivers in the league. He's an up-and-coming star, a budding star in the making. His name is Adriel Jeremiah Green, better known as AJ Green. This guy's a stud. He gets it done. He catches everything. I don't care if the ball's 4 yards out of bounds, 6 yards too high. He goes up and he makes a play. Just get it in his vicinity and he'll do the rest. I still have my reservations, however, about the red rifle. And of course, I'm talking about Andy Dalton, the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. Can he really get it done? He had a solid rookie campaign last year. You won't hear me complain about the numbers that he posted last year. Over 3,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He looked solid. And I tell you what, he orchestrated this offense and had them had them as a playoff participant last year. And that's a lot coming from a team that was 5-11 the year before and really didn't have a prayer of a winning season. And so he did well in his rookie campaign. But this is a new season, and you have to show me. I'm from Missouri. You have to show me. And so, show me what you're gonna do. I don't buy it. You got to show me what you can do, and more than once. I challenged the 49ers yesterday. I said, I don't know if your defense is elite. Show me. You know what they did? They went out and smacked the Green Bay Packers in the face, in the mouth, bloodied them all up. And they in their own stadium at Lambeau Field and said, yeah, I'm elite. And what? I believe you now. Respect is not given, it is earned. You want respect, Cincinnati? Go and earn it. It's there. Go take it. Here's your chance. Spotlight, Monday Night Football, first week of the season, on the road, divisional rival, someone that you have to get past to go where you're trying to go. Here you are. Here's the opportunity. Take it if you want it. Problem is, I don't think you can. I have the Ravens behind the running game with Ray Rice, the efficient passing game of Joe Flacco, and this grinded out mentality that this defense has. I see these Ravens going and getting a victory in week 1, forcing Andy Dalton into mistakes. And not many of them. It only takes one to change the complexion of a game. And I think he's going to make at least one, if not two tonight. Whether it's holding the ball too long in the pocket and getting sacked and fumbling, or throwing a pass that is picked off, or just throwing an errant pass that gets picked off, tipped, or what may have you. Andy Dalton is going to be forced into a mistake tonight. One that's going to cost the Cincinnati Bengals. In a close game, I have the Baltimore Ravens defeating the Cincinnati Bengals 23-17. It's a divisional game. It's going to be close. The Bengals are a good defensive football team. Don't think for 1 second that they're not up to the challenge. They're just not ready yet. And it's as simple as that. This game was in Cincinnati, I'd be singing a different tune probably. It's still maybe not giving them a chance to win, but feeling more sure that they could win the game. Maybe a little bit on the fence. But this game's in Baltimore. You want to show me that you're really a serious contender in that division? Go on the road against one of the bullies of your division and get a game. Go get a W. It's tough to do. It's tough to do. 23-17, Ravens take this one in their home opener on Monday night in the first game of a doubleheader. And speaking of which, let's go on to the second game and the nightcap, where we find the San Diego Superchargers to take on their divisional rivals, the Oakland Raiders. This is an interesting matchup, if for no other reason than these are two teams that nobody's talking about in the AFC West. I remember when the Chargers were the preeminent team in the AFC West. If you wanted to do anything in the AFC West, you had to go through the Chargers. You remember when? Now they're just an afterthought. If the Chargers do anything, hey, it's the Chargers. Hey, that's nice. But you're not really looking for the Chargers. And now with Peyton Manning out in Denver, no one else has a shot in that division now. It's etched in stone that this division belongs to the Broncos. It's the Broncos to lose. And even if you don't think that the Broncos are going to win this division, then your sleeper is the Chiefs. So you're in essentially a lose-lose situation if you're one of these two teams. Because, I mean, if you're one of these two teams, you feel like, good, nobody's talking about us. We're under the radar. Let's go make it happen. But everybody thinks that they're better than they are, and they want their just due for being as good as they think they are. And so these are two teams that are hungry, starving for attention, starving for a piece of the division crown, and they think that they're just as good as anybody in this division. And so this is going to be an interesting matchup, because I think the loser of this game will finish in last place this year. And the winner of this game, I'm not saying they're going to the playoffs, but they'll be right there in the thick of things come December with a chance to win this division. And so I think this is a big game because it sets the tone in the AFC West in terms of establishing who's not going to be at the bottom. And I know that's a lot being said for the first game of the season, but you don't want to lose your first divisional game right off the bat. It's so tough to come back, especially in a division as evenly matched as the AFC West. I mean, we talk about the Broncos and Peyton Manning, but they're one or two injuries away from being right back to the rest of the pack with everybody else. And we're talking about 2 or 3 9-7 teams in this division. I mean, everybody is right around each other. Nobody separates themselves from the rest of the division. And so this is a scary division. So losing one game, especially if you're the Raiders and you're home, you can't afford to drop this one to open the season. It's just not allowed. You have to find a way to beat this divisional foe. If you're the Raiders, this is a team that you've beaten the last 3 out of 4 matchups. And so you feel like you've earned their respect. And not only earned their respect, you feel like this is a team that you're supposed to be able to beat now. And so you've handled them quite easily the last 2 seasons. And so you can't afford to lose this matchup at home. This is a game you have to have. And the Raiders were getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks in the preseason. Now it was the preseason. Let's see if they can carry that momentum into the season and go after Phillip Rivers with the starting left tackle, rookie left tackle, undrafted left tackle in Mike Harris. They have to be able to get after the quarterback, harass Phillip Rivers. We know Phillip Rivers can be forced into turnovers. He threw 20 picks last year. Un-Phillip Rivers-like. But it happens when pressure is applied. And if you can put pressure on Phillip Rivers, he's going to press. He's going to try to make things happen because Phillip Rivers feels responsible for the fate of the San Diego Chargers. And he should. He is 60 to 70% of this team's offense. He's what makes the San Diego Chargers go. Stop Phillip Rivers, you stop the San Diego Chargers. Kill the head and the body will die. That's the scenario with the San Diego Chargers. So you get to Phillip Rivers, you get to the San Diego Chargers. And so the goal for the Raiders is to get after Phillip Rivers early and get after Phillip Rivers often. If they can do that, in addition to running the football, establishing the run, and going play action fake off of the run game, the Raiders will cruise to a victory on Monday night. Problem is, I don't trust the Raiders, and I don't trust their defense. This has been a defense that's been bad for the last 2 to 3 seasons. And I'm talking morbid bad. I'm talking about terrible. I'm talking 27th in pass and stopping the run as well. I'm talking about 29th overall. These are the type of numbers that the Raiders post. They don't perform well against opposing offenses, especially ones that can score points. Now, they've had their fair share of success against Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers has had his fair share of success against the Oakland Raiders. So it's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get. It's the first game of the season. The Chargers did not look impressive in the preseason. Someone has to step up. Again, no Ryan Matthews tonight. Broken collarbone. Going to miss the first game or two of the season. And so who's carrying the football for them? There's no more Mike Tolbert. He's off in Carolina. Who you got carrying the football? And they have Ronnie Brown. They have Jackie Battle. But again, these aren't guys that strike fear into your heart. And so it's going to be an interesting game. I want to see what North Turner dials up against this Raiders defense that's going to be new and improved under head coach Dennis Allen. And I like what Dennis Allen is doing. He's getting experience out there on the field. He's getting guys who are proven veterans in the National Football League, mixing them and integrating them into this defense, who has a number of young, hungry defenders already, and trying to see if he can get them to mesh together and get this defense out of the cellar. And he doesn't have to do much because you can't get much worse than they were a season ago. And so we're going to see. You flip the side of that coin and you go to the Raiders offense. And their offense is an enigma. You know, you go 1 week and the Raiders put up 260 yards rushing and just obliterate you. And then the next week, the Raiders get shut out by the Chiefs. You just don't know what team is going to show up. Now, granted, in those two instances, you might have an injury, as the Raiders did last year, to a quarterback, and then you don't score points with Kyle Bowler in the game. But that's what happens with the Raiders. No matter who the quarterback is, you should still be able to run the football effectively if that's what your MO is. And you don't know what the Raiders are from week to week. 1 week, they're going down the field to Jacoby Ford, and they're going down the field to Denarius Moore, and they're making plays in the passing game. And then the next week, you know, they're running the football, and they're gashing people with McFadden. And when they had Michael Bush, they were pounding you with Bush. And the next week after that, they weren't doing either one of those things. And so you don't know what Raiders team is going to show up. And so this is going to be an interesting matchup. I said all of that to say this. I don't trust the Raiders. I don't trust the Chargers, but I trust them more than the Raiders because the Chargers have been to the playoffs in the last 6 years. The Chargers have shown the propensity to win games. And so with that alone, I can't bring myself to pick the Raiders until they show me that they can take care of business inside the division on a Monday night game. They did so last year against the Broncos on the road. This is a different circumstance. I think the Chargers are desperate this year. They know this is it for North Turner if he can't win. They got to start this season off on a good note. They can't afford to drop their first 3 out of 4 and think that they're just going to pick it up because the Broncos are waiting for no team in this division. As you saw last night, the Broncos are ready to take this division by the horns and make it their own. They're ready to write their names atop of the leaderboard in this division and take that division crown. It's already theirs, and they feel like it shouldn't leave their facility. If you're the Chargers and you feel differently about that, and you have something to say about that, you have to keep pace with the Broncos, and you can't afford to drop one inside the division. That is why I have the San Diego Chargers defeating the Oakland Raiders tonight by the score of 24-20, which ultimately should run my record to 11-5 for the weekend. And I tell you what, this could have been a lot worse. Now I'm playing damage control, and I feel confident with my picks tonight. And neither of these games really scare me, but if one were to go in a different direction than what I've already discussed, it would be that latter game, that Chargers and Raiders game. But both of these teams are an enigma right now. You don't know what you're getting from either one of them. Unlike the first game of the night where you know who the Ravens are, you know what the Ravens are about, and you know that the Bengals are an up-and-coming team looking for respect. These are two teams who are just trying to find their way in the AFC West. And so no one's picking them to do anything. There are no expectations for either one of these teams. And so this is going to be an interesting game to watch. Like I said, trust is a hard thing to come by. And I don't trust the Raiders. More so than I don't trust the Chargers. That's why the Chargers are going to get it done 24-20 tonight. And those are my picks for this Monday night doubleheader affair. And I'll be posting more videos because it's been a busy weekend and I got a lot to say and I'm going to get it out. And so I'll be posting the weekend that was, going slate skating essentially, going through all the games, giving you analysis of what I saw and what I jotted down. And I'll have analysis of these two games tomorrow on our Tuesday edition, as well as some other things going on. So stay tuned, stay posted, and I'll see you on another edition of In the Lab Room on Monday, breaking down the rest of the games from Sunday. Hope I'll see you then. Until then, same time, same place. I'm out.